Welcome to Joa Fitness Health Wellness Video Podcast, a space to ignite your day through positive conversations. We bring people that have created excellence in their life, sharing high vibration in their reawakening path.
What's happening internally, like why the kids, the babies start developing this position? Is it because the neck is in a wrong position? What's happening?
That's a great question. If they're developing a smaller jaw earlier on in life, it could be multiple reasons. It could be the type of birth that they had. So there could be lots of cranial strains going on. You have to understand, this is, you mentioned it, it's a double hinge joint, right? It's a free bone. But this bone, where it's positioned, is going to depend on where the temporal bone is, right? Because that's what TMJ stands for, temporal mandibular joint. So it depends on where the temporal bone is. It depends on sphenoid bone and all these cranial bones, which are soft, right, for a baby when they're first born. So I think the position of those bones will play a big role on where the mandibular bone is going to grow. And there's also a genetic component. There is a genetic component for sure. But remember.
Hi, happy Friday. Welcome, everybody. Here we are, super excited because every Friday I get to talk to experts related to posture and spinal health. My name is Joa Rivas. I'm here in the city of Toronto. I'm a yoga and Pilates teacher. And I have developed this channel, especially for all the people that have spinal issues, to understand the reasons and the causes of why we actually experiencing back pain. I had scoliosis when I was 15 years old, and it was not fun at all. I can tell you, by 15, I already have chronic back pain that did not let me sleep comfortable. It actually affected almost every activity. And it took me 10 years to actually heal my back, and I'm happily healed after 10 years. I'm 35, so it's been 1 decade of pain, 1 decade of no pain, and I can just thank all the experts and all the practice of yoga and Pilates that helped me to be who I am now, a person that has back pain free. And it's now the mission is to spread the voice. So today, I am with Dr. Mandeep Johal. She is in the city also of Ontario, actually in Ontario, in Guelph, right?
Yes.
And she's been actually sharing this podcast with us for 3 weeks now. And today we're going to be chatting about something very specific for those that have kids and little babies. It's so important to know what we're chatting. But before we start with our topic, I wanted to introduce Dr. Johal Mandeep. And I want to know how she's feeling. How are you there, Mandeep?
I'm doing great. It's a surprise to wake up to a rainy day today, though. I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Very good. Yes, it's been interesting our weather. Like literally last week was 26 degrees, beach days, and then now it's 4 degrees. I was actually out at 6 in the morning and I had to wear my rainy coat, which was nice to wear it. So
And there was ice in the car. I had to go drop my son off, and there was ice on the car. I'm like, what? My son's like, what's going on? I'm like, you should have wore your winter boots, or it's just a rain boot at least.
exactly. It's been changing, but the same as the weather changes, we change so much. And it's so important to be ready and willing to change. And I'm so excited to bring today a topic that it will give you some awareness, especially for parents, about the position of the jaw, the feet, and the eye sensory actually are correlated to our posture. And it's something very important to know because we try to find always and fix our body from the outside, but we actually have to come into these really deep details. And you never know until you actually know. Very important. And we have here an expert that has been dedicated her last practice like years on this. Why? Because she's a mother. She's a mother of 2 kids. And I know many of my friends on my 30s are actually parents. So I know many of my friends would love to hear this, and my clients as well. So Dr. Johal Mandeep, she believes that the whole body wellness begins on the mouth. She's a holistic dentistry. She includes treatments with problems related to the symptoms of the mouth that are related to adverse effects in the body. This one could cause you postural dysfunctional, spinal dysfunctional. It could cause crowded teeth, as we talked before. It could cause deficiency of breathing. You may just start turning into a mouth breathing, and before that comes, We gotta just fix it. I noticed, Dr. Johal, as we were talking, I don't share much about my life, but I actually was thinking, I start breathing on the mouth when I moved to Australia. I don't know why, and I start snoring. Okay, that's something. Like I have to reveal this. I think I snore, to be honest, and it doesn't make me too happy, but it happens, and I'm being fixing it by mouth taping, and I think it's helping me. But I want to do this on the entire day. I don't want to do it only soft conscious when I'm sleeping. I want to do it like with my conscious during the day, and that's why we've been talking about mouth breathing. We have been talking about the position of the teeth. And Johal, tell me a little bit about you, like why this is so important for us to know now.
Well, you bring up a good point because you want to automatically breathe through the nose is what you're trying to achieve. But remember, to build an actual habit, it's going to take about a year to do. So that's a program that we have in our office when we do nasal breathing programs. Tongue posture is a really big part of it, which we're going to talk about next week, how that plays a role into breathing and our posture as well. But that's how we'd be able to help you, is helping you tone your tongue, and give you exercises to help tone these muscles to keep them closed. But it's a lot of work. So this is why I wanted to start introducing this to babies, to introducing this to toddlers, because we can start at a much younger age than waiting till we're this age, because I also snored. I used to
Oh,
also snore.
okay. So we're two women that
Yeah.
snore. Oh my goodness. Oh my
I,
goodness. Okay, we got some news, some news. But you know
it,
what? We have to be and acknowledge, because like my dad, he probably can listen to this. I love you, dad. He snores really hard, right? Really, really, it's like a train, really. So I think he never knew that actually was a correlation between his breath and this. He actually has asthma, so that could be related to the asthma issue. Now,
yes.
because we just don't want to go and fix it when we're already being learning this pattern for so many years. I think it makes sense to come and start from the beginning when we're actually having our kids. So you, as a dentist, you have developed this passion, I guess, when you became a mother, to understand this, which is very good. It makes you be very, very intuitive as a mother, but also now it creates this new knowledge that you gotta spread it. So you have an additional training for infant and childhood dental and airway development. So that's what we're going to be chatting today. And this is dedicated for parents. I know a lot of people will be loving this. We're going to be chatting first about the jaw and the babies and the stimulation that we can help to develop those muscles on the jaw.
So when I see a baby for the first time, and I like seeing babies within the first month, and that's where parents are kind of surprised. Like, what do you mean I bring them the first month? First month of life is obviously really important. I want to make sure as a baby, how's the baby sleeping? Is this baby sleeping the mouth open, mouth closed? Then we look for tongue posture. Some babies are snoring.
Mhm.
Right? So if we can help parents early on in life get to the right people or help them reposition the jaw, we give them little tricks like when they're sleeping at nighttime, I'll have the parents try to open up when they're sleeping, try to pull the chin down and make sure the tongue is on the palate for the baby while they're sleeping,
Okay.
right?
So that's
We
one
want
of the first inspections. So we
yeah,
literally come to a room and then we see the baby. We check that the tongue is actually resting on the top of the mouth, and
yes,
we
on
make
the
sure
roof of the
this
mouth.
right away before the baby starts developing any type of patterns. Remember, the jawbone is the only double hinge bone in our body. Very
Yeah.
interesting. The position and size of the lower jaw plays a major role in our airway volume. So let's just talk about this related to the relation between the mouth breathing and the airway. What's happening internally? Like why, like the kids, the babies start developing this position? Is it because the neck is in a wrong position? What's happening?
That's a great question. If they're developing a smaller jaw earlier on in life, it could be multiple reasons. It could be the type of birth that they had. So there could be lots of cranial strains going on. You have to understand this is, you mentioned it, it's a double hinge joint, right? It's a free bone. But this bone, where it's positioned, is going to depend on where the temporal bone is, right? because that's what TMJ stands for, temporal mandibular joint. So it depends on where the temporal bone is. It depends on sphenoid bone and all these cranial bones, which are soft, right, for a baby when they're first born.
Mhm.
So I think the position of those bones will play a big role on where the mandibular bone is going to grow. And there's also a genetic component. There is a genetic component for sure. But remember, environment plays a bigger role, meaning, yes, there's a genetic component that the baby was already going to have a receded jawline. But imagine if they had a traumatic birth, right? So what I always recommend first thing is, please, after the birth, go see an osteo or cranial sacrum or chiro that specializes with babies. Um, it's amazing. I had this one chiro that I work with. You won't believe this. Like, we've gotten compliments. Like, this baby's gotten so many compliments. It had like this weird shaped head, which a lot of babies first have, right? The baby happened to be tongue tied. But then when they went to go see the chiro and did a couple of adjustments and they lasted longer, you should have seen the head was beautiful and round. It was so amazing to see. But
Mhm.
that's what we can do earlier on in life. So if
Okay.
we can change that earlier in life, why not do that? And that's step one. Step two is, well, now it's already back. What do we do? It's going to be the type of chewy toys and feeding when it starts at 6 months. Okay, that's
So let's chat about breastfeeding. I know I'm actually
okay.
a doula. For those people that follow me, I became very curious about motherhood. Even though I'm not a mother, I decided to learn a little bit more about the motherhood and all the changes that happen in our body and emotional connection to all the postpartum depression. Actually, because I just got so many clients with postpartum depression in a decade. There's like so many, what's happening here. So then we realized that we developed this deficiency on hormones, probably nutritional deficiencies that can affect us. But for breastfeeding, it's been already a challenge to develop this nurturing way to feed our babies, but also the position of the baby's head when we're actually breastfeeding our baby. Does this actually could imply in a future misalignment in the spine? Let's say this could affect, because some women can even breastfeed for 4 years. So this actually could be actually very serious. Have you gotten anything, any studies, something that you can share with us about breastfeeding and the position of the jaw and the development of the spine?
Development of the spine. Well, first of all, breastfeeding has shown over and over again in all research is the best for facial development.
Okay.
That's what a baby needs. That's the first step we need for facial development, is to get the baby on the breast. But then I don't want moms that cannot breastfeed to feel bad either, especially if they have postpartum. But if they are bottle feeding, there's correct ways to bottle feed as well. So we go over that as well. And then we can help them with the facial development of the baby as well. So I just don't like to say this is the best and this is what you have to do. All you can do is try your best, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of studies. So if the baby is getting onto the breast, the muscles, the baby is designed, right, to get onto the breast, get the jaw moving, get the tongue moving. The
Okay.
tongue is the architecture of the face. So if
Mhm.
the tongue isn't doing what it's supposed to do, that face, especially this part of the face, the mid face, because the tongue sits on the palate, right?
Okay.
Every time they're on the breast and they're eating, they're drinking milk, though you have a wave-like motion in the beginning for the tongue, and the tongue cups up onto the palate, right? It's cupping the nipple up to the palate, and that's going to help with growth of the face,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, so breastfeeding is beneficial to develop and the suction and to like teach the tongue how to move. That's really interesting. Plus all the benefits of the immunity. And there is so much from breastfeeding. So you recommend definitely breastfeeding when it's possible?
Yes, of course. I mean, I think as all mothers, we all try, but I mean, I had my own struggles. I don't know if I shared with you guys last time, but breastfeeding is a really big challenge for me. This is why I never want any mom to feel bad. I was in the hospital for a week, Joa,
Mm,
and it's because my baby wasn't gaining enough weight, and I had huge babies. I had like 10 pounds and like 11.9 ounce babies. Okay, so they were massive babies, and I had cesareans. Okay,
okay.
so I was there for a week, and they weren't gaining enough weight, and they said, "You're tiny. You just had a cesarean. Don't worry about it." Nobody once looked in their mouth to see, was it tongue tie? Was it a lip tie? What was going on? And I had a lactation consultant with me as well. It was really, really like hard on me. And I felt as a mother, like, what am I doing wrong for my child? My child is not growing because of me, right? And they pushed breastfeeding so hard that my babies were losing weight continuously. And they made me feel like if I supplemented, I was doing something wrong for my baby. And I don't want any mother to ever feel that way. We should do the best we can for our babies. And if we have to supplement, we had to give them a bottle, give them a bottle, right? Do the best we can. And then I can help them later on. When the baby gets to 6 months, then we'll help supplement that lack of development that they didn't get from the breast. I can help them later on at 6 months.
Yes. Okay. So let's just remove any type of guilt feeling that we can get connected to, or failing feeling. No, just because not everybody has that ability actually to breastfeeding. One thing that I also found is that obesity, age, and retrouted lower jaw are all factors for snoring and sleep apnea. So this is something super interesting, because actually next time we're going to be in the next week, we're going to be chatting about snoring, and we will be chatting about the connection again from the jaw connection to the body. So this is super interesting. Let's just summarize today. I know the talk goes really, really fast, but let's summarize what are the 3 steps for parents to inspect in their kids to make sure that the kids are being taking care of their jaw the youngest possible. And you say 1 month is the time. Actually, as soon as the baby borns, after a month, we can start inspecting and making sure that our babies have the proper position.
Yeah. So when I see the baby for the first time in the first month, those are the questions I ask. One is, how is the baby sleeping? Are there any sounds, snoring? Is the tongue on the palate, or is the mouth open? There's a lot of babies that do sleep with their mouth open, and they're already mouth breathing from day one.
Yeah.
Second thing we're going to assess for is going to be what kind of position, like, do they have any tightness in the body? I see a lot of babies too that have a lot of tightness in the body, and they favor one side over the other. Lots of moms, when they're breastfeeding, they're like, oh, my baby feeds really well on one side, not the other. Well, they can have tightness in their body. It could be from birth, or it could be from a tongue tie. So assess for position and tightness in the body. The third thing I'd probably say is, if it's to do with breastfeeding or bottle feeding, to make sure that that's going well. If they're not breastfeeding, make sure they're bottle feeding correctly as well. Always get help from a lactation consultant. I know as moms, sometimes like, oh, this is easy. How hard can it be? It's not a big deal. I can do this. But there's no shame in asking for help, just to say, hey, how am I doing? Am I doing it correctly? It's only going to benefit you. Nobody's ever going to judge, right?
Okay, well, I got the 3 steps, and I'm not a mother now, maybe one day, but I think this is so crucial to know, because maybe it will facilitate it will make your life so much easier to know. So the number 1 is to check that the baby has the proper position of the body, right?
Oh yeah, first, well, yeah, you can check body too, but first I mentioned the tongue, right? Make sure the tongue is on the
Make sure the tongue and the jaw is in a proper position. Number 2 is to check that the body, it is aligned, so that doesn't develop any trait of dominance between one side or the other. And number 3 is to search for a third party help, a professional lactation, or a person like you, a dentist that is a specialist on infants. So this all can help you. And thank you. This is so beneficial for all of us. If you guys have heard this and found anything super, super interesting, please share with your friends, share with all your community. Any comments are welcome. And if you have any questions, don't never doubt on reach us. So Dr. Mandeep Johal has a Instagram channel, which is her main social channel is Dr. Mandeep Johal. Without that, only Dr. Mandeep Johal. That's how you can find her on Instagram. You can also search her in Google. You can find all her reviews, great reviews. But we love to hear from you. Please just share with us your comments about this. If you wanna have even any type of new topics, we are open to bring for you what you want to hear. And remember to subscribe to our channel. That always will bring some positive feelings on my heart when I see these people subscribing. So thank you so much to everybody. Dr. Mandeep, what are you doing this weekend? What's happening next week?
Oh, I don't know. Well, next weekend or next Friday, we're going to be talking about snoring and tongue posture, and how that actually will affect your whole alignment and getting good sleep, guys. It's so great for the mind and body, right?
And the tongue tie release, it will be a short segment of that. I just taught a class of yoga this week. It was a yoga nidra for the full moon. It was a beautiful class, and it was with sound healing and a sound bath. So it was with collaboration with Faye Jacobs, an artist that is being soothing our soul with a soul massage. I call it the 3 M's: movement, meditation, and music. Is such a great combination of what we can do together on simply breathing. We were practicing nasal breathing during the class, and also we were just practicing to simply let go and do nothing, which is one of the things that is so hard for us to learn. So thank you, everybody. I will see you next week. I teach classes every week of yoga, and if you want to know about the classes, it's yogafitness.com/yoga. That all the classes are there, inviting the community at no cost. Actually, I just do pay by donation that goes into a nonprofit that I have with 1,500 kids. And now we actually have a campaign where we are supporting the teachers of these low advantage communities in Venezuela. We are simply feeding with one sale of $5 will feed 1 kilo of black beans to a teacher. That will be most likely 3 meals per teacher. So yes, that's how we can contribute to our planet. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Mandeep. Do you have anything else that you want to share with us?
Oh, you wanted me to talk about my course too. I forgot. I'm doing a webinar with the Shift Concussion Clinic. They are located in Guelph, but they have satellite offices all over Canada. And what's interesting about this clinic is they have osteos, chiros, naturopaths, you name it, PTs, they have everybody there. But then I networked with them and let them know that they need a dentist on board, because the jaw position is just as important to help their patients when they have concussions. So we're going to be doing a webinar on June 28th. The invite should be on my Instagram very soon around 7:30. And we'll be talking about how we all work together and how we can help our patients better when we work as a collaboration.
June 28th, we will have that. I would love to sign in and hear all this about concussions. Yeah, you can fall anytime, you can get into a car accident or anything, and sometimes we don't feel it until it's too late. So it's good that we get this type of gatherings of professionals helping people onto this particular issue. Thank you so much, Mandeep, for this extra info. I will see you next Friday talking about tongue tie release and snoring. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. And remember, together we are stronger.
We invite you to subscribe to this channel and share with your community. Please leave comments below, and if you like the episode, click the like button. Have a beautiful day.